So welcome everyone to PSI in Practice. I am Kelly Murphy Mason. I am a staff therapist here at the Psychotherapy and Spirituality Institute, and it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter this morning, Monique Lang, someone I admire both personally and professionally very much. Monique has been a psychotherapist for 30 years, specializing in the treatment of trauma, and is on faculty at ICP in their trauma program, and works with a lot of very ingenious modalities and very imaginative ways. She's also the staff therapist at the Omega Institute, which she travels to when weather permits. She's given numerous presentations and is the author of 2 books, which you will find in the back table: Meditations for Healing and Healing from Post-Traumatic Stress, a workbook for recovery. This morning she's going to be talking to us about mindfulness, IFS, and body-focused technique. So please welcome Monique.
Thank you. All right. And I'd like to start with this poem by Rumi, which many of you, I'm sure, know, called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thoughts, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each of them, has been sent as a guide from beyond. And really, I think that as therapists, this is the work that we do. When our clients come in, we invite them to come and bring with them all that is. And my model of preference is internal family systems. And how many of you are familiar with the model? Oh, great. So I'm just going to do a very quick review for those of you who are not. So internal family system is a mindfulness-based psychotherapy practice. And is really based on this poem, when you think about it, where the idea is to welcome all that is. But let me just get through this for a few minutes. So the idea of internal family system is that we have a core, a healthy core, that is called self. And I was not a school teacher, so my writing is lousy. And so we are all born in self. And you can tell when you see a newborn baby, there's this energy, there's this radiance, there's this quality of being that radiates out of newborn babies. And that's called self. Now, that's what I call self. You ask 27 IFS therapists what self is, and you get 27 answers. For me, it's this place where we are fully who we are and connected to the divine, whatever that means to you, to me. It's the place when you are in a really, really good meditation where you just are. Now, self is a being. Self doesn't do. Self informs. But as we all know, life isn't all that cushy and easy and simple, and so we have to actually maneuver this plane, right? this is when what we call parts come up. Now, parts are divided into 3 types. Managers, exiles, and firefighters. Managers can be healthy or what we call burdened. So a healthy manager is the part of you that opens the refrigerator, notices that there's no milk, and goes, I should go to the supermarket and get milk. It's not a big deal. I need milk. I'm going to the supermarket and I'm going to get milk. If that same manager is burdened, it opens the refrigerator door, sees there's no milk, and goes, oh my God, there's no milk, I'm going to starve. There will never be, if I better go to the store, because if I don't go to the store, and maybe they'll have run out of the store, and there's never enough milk, and when I was, and goes into a panic. Because the no milk has triggered an exile, which holds a memory of a time of actually or metaphorically no milk. So what happens is when an exile gets triggered, the manager becomes burdened to behave in certain ways to make sure that the exile doesn't get triggered. So, to use my milk example, a burdened manager will make sure that there's 6 quarts of milk in the refrigerator at all times, because God forbid there should be no milk. And it's fear-based. And by keeping 6 quarts of milk in the refrigerator, what happened is that this exile doesn't come out. Because the beliefs, the felt sense of the exile is so big that it becomes intolerable. So trauma is held in the body, right? We all know that at this point. So often, the exile resides in a part of your body that holds dis-ease. You know, post-traumatic stress really happens during the freeze. If you fight, you don't have post-traumatic stress. If you flee, you don't have post-traumatic stress. If you freeze, because freeze is not the absence of action. It's action that doesn't get expressed. Right? So in SC or sensory motor, really what we do is we get the body to move or to do what it could not do at the time of the trauma. So what we're going to do is, I'm one of these people who doesn't know anything unless I've done it. So I'm going to get you to do it. So again, I'm going to, but before that, any questions? It is amazing how often we don't breathe. It is amazing how often our clients don't breathe, or breathe in a very agitated way. So just helping someone modulate their breath will help them come into the window of tolerance. Okay. This is the window of tolerance. What happens is, this is the place when we're healthy where we can have our feelings, but neither get hyper nor hypo. So you can be upset, but you're not freaking out and you're not depressed. So it allows for the normal range of emotions to exist. Make sense? Okay. So what happens to many of our clients is that they're either hyper or hypo. Because if they were here, they'd be fine, they wouldn't be coming to us. Mostly. The idea, in order to process particularly trauma, we need to make sure that our clients are in here somewhere. Now they can go up a little bit, or they can go down. So this would be flight. This would be freeze. This would be flight, fight. Be freeze. So this is not in the window of tolerance. This is not in the window of tolerance. In order for the work of therapy to happen, we need to bring our clients in this window of tolerance so that they can peak a little bit, but not freak out. So they have, in IFS, we would say that there has to be enough self for the work to happen, which is being in the window of tolerance. So the ways to get people in the window of tolerance. One is working with the breath. Now, this is probably contrary to almost everything you've ever heard. When you have someone who comes in and is hyper and you say, slow down your breath, what happens? They get worse, right? So the idea is to match the breath and slow it down gradually. So if you have somebody who's in freeze, what you want to do is you want to help them move up. Right? Somebody who's hyper. So people like that, I will have them stand up and move. You know, could you stand up? Oh, I'm so tired. I know. Can you stand up? And I'll stand up. Can you feel your feet on the ground? Can you make your breath a little deeper? So what you're doing is you're beginning to engage the autonomic nervous system. You're trying to move from inertia to movement. And then you can start talking about whatever it is that's going on. Does that make sense? So using the breath is really simple. I mean, we all breathe. We're all pretty familiar with the concept of breathing. So my belief is this, so again, integrating it all together. One is using the breath and the body to get to what it is that's happening, that's preventing them from, that gets them either here or here. And then being curious in the IFS model, you know. So what would happen? I'm curious about the part that has concerns about showing more emotions. What would happen if you got really angry? Well, are you kidding? Right? So, and what happens in your body when I say, what would happen if you got really angry? So a lot of the work, when you're working with the body and with the internal family system, is paradoxical. Rather than saying, do this, what would happen if you did it? Or what would happen if you didn't do that? You know, and so there are core issues that will trigger us, no matter how much work we've done. But the idea is, as we become mindful of what's going on in our body, it allows our thoughts to become clearer. And it allows us to explore the possibilities of a different way of being. So, any last questions or comments? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.